A lot of white conservative pastors, they love trumpeting Trump in the pulpit. But black preachers have been sounding off and speaking to their congregations. Here's my man, Pastor Jenkins, First Baptist Church of Glenarden, Maryland, speaking from the pulpit on yesterday.
So the people of Nineveh believed God, proclaimed a fast, and put on sackcloth, from the greatest to the least of them. Oh, I love that right there. When Jonah obeyed God, the people changed. And they believed God, and they proclaimed a fast. They put on sackcloth. That word, when it talks about somebody putting on sackcloth, that means they repented. And you know who did it? From the greatest to the least. Let me put it in today's language. Everybody. Everybody changed. Everybody changed. And then verse 6, then the word came to the king of Nineveh. And he arose from his throne and laid aside his robe, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. When the people in the city changed, it caused the leadership of the city to change. Maybe if Americans would change, the leadership of America might change. I don't get. I better leave that alone. Let me just roll on. I can't handle it. I have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. I don't get it. I don't get the support. I don't get it. I especially don't get people of color voting that way. Y'all see the claps are getting lower and lower. Some of them people here, some of them people who like him, voted for him, are here. Don't get mad because you ain't got no job. You voted for him. Please don't start me to cussing here today. Please, Lord. I better leave this alone. I feel something rising up on me. I feel something coming on me. Ooh. Did y'all hear that they stopped and took away Martin Luther King's birthday? Did y'all hear that? Yeah. That man caused a change. MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. caused this nation to rise up and recognize his wickedness. And they took away his birthday from being a national holiday. Ooh, I better roll on. I feel a cussing spirit rising up in me. I better take advantage of the fact that I ain't cussed out nobody all day today. Somebody thank God today. I haven't said a cuss word all day today. But I feel something rising up in me. Maybe if America would change, the leadership of our country would change.
I have no issues, Ome Congo, with preachers speaking truth, even by saying, yeah, some of y'all voted for them. Call them out and speak truth to power.
Well, I mean, if these white evangelicals can get up there and praise Trump and have signs up, and even going back to the Bush days, voting for Bush is voting for Jesus, and in every way, shape, or form, they embrace Trump, and they do it brazenly. So it's about time that, and I know they're having many black pastors, but we need more of them speaking up, not only speaking up, but recording it and putting it out there. Because even when we're watching a lot of these news networks, they always talk about, well, Trump's evangelical support is still raises high, but they never say white evangelical support, because black pastors of all faith, black or religious figures, I should say, have been speaking up against Trump, but they haven't been doing it loudly enough, and they have to do it from the pulpit. I mean, we come from a people where the church was so powerful in what we did to get our liberation, not just during the civil rights movement, but all throughout our time here. And I feel like, I'm not as connected to it as many other people, but just looking at it from a distance, I feel like that's something that we've lost over the last 20, 30 years or so. And right now we need to bring it back, because these white evangelicals for Trump, they're only growing stronger, not only in what they're saying, but the platforms that they're using to say it.
Jolanda?
So I absolutely agree. And I think we need to call people out, specifically. So here's what I don't understand. When people are struggling, people will always preface what they say with, I'm not saying, you deserve, everybody deserves not to have a job or whatever, but you voted for Trump, or you deserve to be, deported because you voted for Trump, but no one really deserves that. My thing is, call people out, hold them accountable for what they do and the consequences of their actions. So if you know people, and one reason I think that a lot of the evangelicals don't is because Trump has this thing with vouchers, which I'm adamantly opposed to, where he's giving churches more money to open schools, to preach these things that are ungodly. And so all the pastors are doing are paying attention to if they get more money. They're not paying attention to whether their congregants have the money to pay their bills for everything. So I do think that we need to call a spade, and more black pastors need to do that. And I think we also need to talk about black men, because we listen to the talking about, black men are starting to vote for Trump. That we need to have discussions about that in church and explain in black churches why that's nonsensical, why to vote for Trump if you're a black man is antithetical to black men rising. I just think that there are a lot of things that we need to talk about in church, and they stayed away from it. And now that the Supremes have given churches, I guess, the new right, because it was precedent that churches can get involved in elections, that churches can now get involved. I think we should speak more about it, since now the Supreme Court has given us carte blanche to talk about it in churches. And I think that the church has always been the opium of the masses for black people. Again, not just during the civil rights movement, but when we were enslaved. And so the church needs to do a lot of educating. And now, again, they can, and they can't get in trouble for it. They won't lose their tax exempt status. So I think that now they need to have courage to speak truth to power, and also speak to black people, because we are suffering, and we are suffering the most at every level for everything. And the pastors need to do that. And that's where I think that we as elected officials need to talk more to the pastors, so that we can educate them on how things really work. Again, Roland, going back to the conversation we had before, so that the church can explain these things to the congregants and explain to them why they need to pay more attention to politics, not less.
Randy?
I love seeing black pastors taking the role that they really used to have back in the day of leading the black community. It feels like it did back in the day. They are being courageous and giving us the word that we so desperately need. And I believe as they are courageous and are leading, more people will follow. I bet we're going to see an uptick in people going to church, because never in a long time have we needed this word so much. And so I appreciate it. I applaud it. Every week now, I'm just seeing clips of different pastors speaking passionately about what's happening in America in a way that speaks to us. And I must give a shout out to the organist, because did you see the way he was hitting on his message too? Nothing like a black church organist to hit on those messages and add to the drama as well. I appreciated that.
All right, then.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure. We own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.